Hello everyone, my name is Muradike. I'm the creative stylist at Start by Dike Culture and I'll be taking you fashion designing for this summer lesson. Um, it's in this course or in this lesson, we're going to be learning skirts variations and we're going to be learning two skirts variation. The first thing we're going to be learning is the basic straight skirts and then we're also going to be learning the circle skirts. So circle skirt is also known as the flare skirt, popularly known as the flared skirt. But we're going to be learning those two types of skirts. I'm going to ensure that I make this very beginner friendly and very easy to understand. And I hope that you, at the end of this lesson, you are able to pick something and like you can be able to make a project of your own. You can be able to make a skirt, a basic short skirt and the circle skirt for yourself at the end of this lesson. Also, I would like to let you know that if along the line you do not understand anything, you are free to ask me questions. I'll be in the group chat and I would also be available for you I'll be available to take your questions. And yeah, before without further ado, let's get right into the class. So to begin with, we are going to be starting with the straight skirts. So we're going to be using pattern drafting to get our styles. And when I talk about pattern drafting, I'm talking about first drawing what we want, drafting what we want to make on the paper to see and to know what we're doing and to get our measurements correct before we transfer to the fabric and then we construct our skirts. So before the pattern drafts and everything, I'll first like to teach you how to take your measurements for the skirts. Um, so we're going to be diving right into that. So let's start with how to take your skirts measurements. So follow along as we do that. Hello and welcome to the first lesson. Our first lesson is taking measurements. So we're going to be taking measurements. We're going to be using this mannequin to take our measurements for the skirts. So the the most important aspect of fashion design is taking accurate measurements. Taking accurate measurements is very important in fashion design because if you don't take your measurements correctly and accurately, it affects the final product. Taking accurate measurements is the most important, and so we're going to be starting with taking of accurate measurements. So for our skirts, we're going to be taking measurements for skirts, and we do not actually need so much measurements for our skirts. Well, what we need for skirts measurements is we are going to be taking that measurements for our skirts are the vertical measurements as well as the horizontal measurements. So for our vertical measurements, we only need the skirt length, that is the length of your skirts. You need your hip length, that is from your waist to the fullest part of your hip. You also need for a long skirt, you're going to need from your waist to your knee. That's if you're making a long skirt. But if you are not making a long skirt, your waist to the length of the skirt you want. So basically for a short skirt you just need your skirt length, that is from your waist to probably your knee, above your knee or below your knee, your hip length, and that's it. But for the horizontal measurements, you take your waist circumference, that is around your waist, your hip circumference around your hip. Those are the only two horizontal measurements that you need for skirt making. So without further ado, I would like us to begin with the measurements. So the first thing you want to determine is to know where your skirt band will be, where you want your skirts to start from on your waist. That's the first thing you should know. And so now I got a fabric and I figured out where I wanted my waist to start from. So from there, I'm going to start taking my measurements. So I'm going to put my tape measure right on top of that. And then the first thing I want to do is to determine my hip length. And I say hip length, I mean from your waist to where the fullest part of your bum is, around here, the fullest part of your bum. So you want to trace the fullest part of the bum and bring it in. So for my mannequin, my waist to my hip length is 9 inches. Is 9 inches. So this is where the fullest part of my bum is, and I traced it to the front, and then I have 9 inches. So I'll put that down, and then I'll take my skirt measurements. So I'm teaching us how to take the full, like as if you're making a long skirt. But for the purpose of this lesson, we're only going to be working with short skirts. But I want to show you how to take your full length skirt, so that if you want to make a long skirt, you have an idea of how to take your measurements. So after we have determined our hip length, the next thing we want to determine is the knee length. So from our waist right to our knee. So when you're taking your knee length, you don't drop your tape on your knee. It goes a little bit above your knee for ease of walking. That's where you take and put that measurement. So from here we go right. So for my mannequin, my knee length itself, what exactly my knee is 24. I'm going to be coming up by 2 inches, and then I have my knee length at what, 22 inches. And also from there, I'll continue to take the measurement for the full length of the skirt. And so I'll come down, and my mannequin here has my full length for my mannequin here is 41 inches. 41 inches. That's the full skirt. That's I want to make a long skirt. It is 41 inches. But if I want to make a 3/4 skirt, a 3/4 skirt is a skirt that is not long and is not short. So it's just in between. And so you want to determine where you want your 3/4 to stay, and then you take your measurements up until that point. So for my mannequin, if I want to make a 3/4 skirt on my mannequin, my skirt length is going to be what? It's going to be 33 inches. That is if I want to make a 3/4 skirt. But for the purpose of this class, we're making a short skirt, and for short skirts, I'm going to stop my measurements a little bit below my knee. So from my waist, I'll take the short skirt length, and from my mannequin, I have 28 inches. So that's how you take your vertical measurements for your skirts. Don't forget, from the waist to the hip length, we have 9 inches. And for that hip length, you go for the fullest part of your bum, and then you just trace it out. Yes, the fullest part of your bum. Then if I want to make a long skirt for my mannequin, my skirt length is 41. If I want to make a 3/4 skirt, my skirt length is 33. And if I want to make a straight short skirt, my skirt length is 28. So I'm going to continue on to taking the horizontal measurements for the skirt. For the horizontal measurement, we know where we want our waist to stay. So you just take that piece around. I'll just take it round like that. Now, so yes, I want to take it down. Let me bring this a bit closer so that you can see what I'm talking about. So yes, we have brought a bit closer. I want you to see. So you to take your round waist measurement, just follow that line, that part where we have a fabric, and then you take it. So I want you to take note that this is here, and so you also wherever this one stop is where the measurement is. So now that we are doing this, we're going this way. But for ease, because you don't want it to be too tight and you cannot breathe, and you're not making a corset skirt here. So we're going to just put a finger in between, just for a little bit of ease. It doesn't make your skirt waist too big. No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't make your skirt waist too big. You just want to put that in for a little bit of ease. So a finger is enough, and then you do this. So when I do that, my measurement is around 24 and 3/4. 24 and 3/4. So that is how my measurement, this is the waist measurement for my skirt, 24 and 3/4. So if I don't put my finger in at all and I put it, it gives me what, 24 and half. But because I want that little bit of ease, you put your finger in and then it gives you 24 and 3/4. And then after that, you take your hip measurement. So for the hip measurement, let me turn this around so that you see I'm going to take it. So you bring your tape measure and put it at the fullest part of the bum. That part where we have the 9 inches, the fullest part of the bum, and then you pick it. So mind you, when you're taking your hip measurement, you don't just take that fullest part of the bum and leave it like that. You need to ensure that your tape measure goes round, so that when you're sewing, when you're on your clients or you wear your skirts, it's not tight at this place, now comes in, or it looks awkward sometimes. So you make sure you ensure that this measurements can go like from up to down, so it is not so tight that it cannot move, and it is not going to give you an awkward result. So you make sure your tape measure is free enough for it to go up and down. It doesn't make it too big, don't worry. And if by the end of the day you feel like it's too big, you can just take a little bit in. So for that, my hip measurement for my mannequin is what is going to give me 38 and half. 38 and half. So with 38 and half, I can easily go up and down. So that's 38 and half. So basically, those are the only two measurements, two horizontal measurements that you need for your skirts. So now that we have done taking our skirts measurements, we're going to go on into the drafting of the pattern for these skirts. We're starting with the straight short skirt. So we're going to draft the pattern for that now, and come along with me while we draft the pattern for our skirts.